Do you think we look fine?
I can't see. I'm so blind. And I have contact lenses on. And I still can't see the screen. But I whatever. I'm over it.
It's okay. At least we sound fine.
Yeah, you see, you're concerned about the sound. I'm like, do I look okay?
I'm way more concerned about the sound than anything else because I'm pretty sure most people that watch the podcast probably listen to it instead of watching
it.
It's
more important to hear. But yeah, I'm not a well person.
It's okay.
I know.
None of us are.
I know. Okay. Are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay. Fuck. Let me put this here. Let's do this. This is a fun one. Guys, hi. Today we're doing something different, and Dalen is the man behind the camera. He has organized this entire set. He does the editing, he listens, he interacts with the guests, he does everything behind the scenes, and we're bringing Dalen on camera now, who's a legend, and I'm actually just going to hand it over to him to do the intro.
Oh, man, you put me on. Okay.
Can you do it?
I can do it. I can do it.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. Let me just get into character quickly. Welcome to Addicts Having Coffee with me, Dalen Jansen van Rensburg, and where we... it's different. Okay.
See, now, he gives me... So, I did it twice correctly in a row, and he always calls it out. So now I'm just sitting back. Go, Dalen.
Hey. Do I start from scratch?
You just have to. Or just do a normal intro. Come. Just be like, hi, guys.
Okay. No, I got this. I need to properly do it so that in the future I can give you if you're not doing it properly.
Okay, go. Fair.
Welcome to Addicts Having Coffee with me, Dalen Jansen van Rensburg, where we talk about addiction, recovery, and everything in between.
Okay, honestly, brilliant.
Thank
brilliant.
you.
I can't be mad. Twice. I think I've done it like 5 times in a row before where I just kept messing it up. You did it twice. That's brilliant.
Okay, I feel better now. I was like, man, with the camera off, I did it 100%.
He did.
And then the camera switches on and I forget how to speak.
See, that is what happens though, because you like overstimulate and you're like, Addicts, coffee, things. Yes. Well, today we're doing something different. What are we doing today?
Today we're doing a Q&A, which I've been very, very excited about. Like, every time you sent me the questions, I just got more and more hyped for this episode.
Yeah.
Also, bear with me, as I'm probably going to struggle reading some of these.
That's all good, bro. It's all good. Well, like basically what we did was I put Dalen and Oratile had this idea where I'm going to do a question and answer segment on the show, right? And we discussed it in detail and we were like, why don't we just put it up to people on Instagram, to the homies on Instagram, and be like, what are common questions you want to ask or things you want answered that we can do in a more long form kind of format than it is on TikTok or Instagram. So here we are. And I've only seen some of the questions and they're all anonymous. So don't stress anyone out there who asked any questions. So we're answering in real time, and Dalen like wrote them all out and has it all perfectly sorted.
So like you said, everything is anonymous, so we're not putting I wanted to put like an image up every time, but then I was like of the little question squares, I was like, okay, I don't really want to show anyone's names. I don't want anyone to get hate for any of these questions, and we all know how the internet is, but I want to say thank you to the Instagram community for being active and actually like going through and asking some really good questions. Some of these I'm quite excited about because I want to know your answer, because there are questions that I've actually thought about on some of the episodes.
Yay!
So, are you ready?
I am. Hit me.
And this is something I've seen come up before. Are you single?
Am I single? No, I am in a long-term relationship. First healthy relationship I've ever been in my entire life. Like, really happy, have an amazing boyfriend. He and I have been together for 7 years, nearly. Longest relationship I've ever been in.
Oh, wow.
For real, longest relationship I've ever been. I've made lots of mistakes in my life, okay? And yeah, we live together and we're very happy.
And we love him.
Yeah,
He
he's the
is
coolest
an
guy.
absolute sweetheart and angel.
He's an angel.
Just amazing.
Tell them about the first time you met Carl.
Oh, the first time I met Kyle, we were in a different location. And, oh, bless him, you asked for some behind the scene footage, which he was going to record on his phone. And just, I set up my camera and I record everything. And I want to say it was like kind of a quarter-ish into the episode. I see him sitting on his phone, but he's staring with so much love in his eyes. It was so adorable to see. And then afterwards, finding out that he pretty much just recorded the floor.
He did. He recorded the floor. Behind the scenes was just the floor. But he was like, as Dalen pointed out, like he was just like watching and learning and listening. And that's just so nice. And I love him. And I would do the same for him.
And it looked like he enjoyed every second of it.
Ah! Legend. Shame.
Okay, so this is another question that I think this has kind of been answered, but I wanted to put this in here because I wanted one like continuous answer instead of splitting up like TikTok does. We have to do something over multiple things.
Yes.
Multiple videos. What age did you start using, and at what age did you go into active recovery?
So it's an interesting question, and I'll tell you why. Because there's many different substances I used throughout my life and many different things I was addicted to throughout my life. So I always pinpoint the moment I found like I had a solution and started using substances to fix things and they started impacting my life was the first time I picked up alcohol. And I was around 13 years old the first time I got blackout drunk. I had definitely had drinks before then. It was very common in the community and where I grew up. But when I was 13 or 14 years old, I got drunk at an event and I don't remember anything. And that's when I thought I found a solution. After that, when other like substances, particularly uppers, came into the equation, which my drug of choice is crystal meth, there was a drug called Thins. And it was a prescription medication. And it was for this, it sounds horrible. I did struggle with an eating disorder, losing my voice. It was for weight loss. And people used it recreationally. I started using it because I was struggling with my eating disorder. And a friend of mine's mother had so many of these pills lying around. And she would bring it to school and we would take the pills. And then I would start getting this like intense kind of amphetamine-like high because it's ephedrine. It was just about pure ephedrine that you could get over the counter. Like it was simple, accessible. And that's when things started really spiraling for me. So that I was age. My eating disorder started quite young, but that started at 16 years old.
So basically so you considered yourself an addict at 16 years old?
If I look back on it now, back then I was in a lot of denial because I was struggling with the eating disorder and it was very easy for me to mask the addiction that came around that. And it was very easy for me to say, I'm using this as a tool to help with my weight loss as opposed to I'm using this as a tool to get through the day. And that became very blurry. So I would say then, but things really got bad for me when I was 19 years old. Like really bad. I'm talking blacking out drugs, taking a variety of substances, experimenting with everything, finding myself blacked out in situations that I don't remember. That's when the real core, I would think, of the consequences of my addiction started.
And then at what age did you enter active recovery?
Active recovery, I was 26, becoming 27. So I say 27 years old because it was towards the end. I was turning 27 in recovery. So 27 years old was when I actively started participating in my own recovery.
So what did active recovery look for you in the beginning? Because I think we know some of the story of later on events. We've talked quite a bit on these videos before and afterwards.
Yes.
But I don't know. I've also obviously watched a lot of your other content, and I don't know. I don't know if there was like if I just missed it, or maybe it's just a smaller part of how that beginning went for you.
I don't think I've actually gotten into great detail about early recovery, and I don't know why. I think it was a very lonely time. And I have to be very honest about that because I don't want people to think recovery is easy. It's not easy. I came out of a treatment facility. I had no friends left. The only people who would talk to me were people that I could relapse with. And I had to cut them off because I had gone through so many relapses previously, and I really had to start from scratch. Early recovery, I moved into a halfway house. Then I moved into a sober living facility, and that was over a period of 2 years. But I started acting out on really bad behaviors. So I was doing well with my recovery. I wasn't picking up substances. I started building a career for myself, and things were looking okay. But I still had other crutches that I used that were quite dangerous.
Yeah.
So I got into a relationship pretty early on in my addiction recovery with another person in early addiction recovery. In fact, our relationship got this person kicked out of a halfway house. I was in the sober house when we got into this relationship. This person was kicked out of a halfway house and had to come move to the sober house, which means there was a period of time I put him in danger
Yeah.
by getting into a relationship with him. And we stayed together. And he was also, I say that this is the first relationship that I've been in that was actually quite healthy. This one was actually quite healthy in the sense that there was no toxicity. There was no like massive fighting. However, the only thing we had in common was trying to find recovery. That was the only thing we had in common. And that's all we kind of bonded over in a shared space. And there was no real like deep dive into, are we compatible as human beings? And because I think I was avoiding seeing that, and we were in a relationship for a while, I was avoiding seeing that. And I started leaning on other really negative coping mechanisms, including the eating disorder. So 2 years into my addiction recovery, so at this point, I've got a job. I start building a life for myself. My brother's still not really talking to me at this point. Um, I'm building a really close relationship with my father. Me and my mom are struggling, but we're talking. Uh, my eating disorder became my focus. The relationship was pushed to the sidelines. Drug recovery was pushed to the sidelines. Substance recovery, whatever you want to call it, sidelines. My focus was my eating disorder, and it became what my life was focused on. So 2 years into my recovery, I was hospitalized and put in a wheelchair because of my eating disorder. And for the first 5 years of my addiction recovery, the relationship soon ended when my eating disorder got the best of me. He couldn't see me harming myself. And I wasn't prepared to fix that side of me. I wasn't. Like the drugs, the eating disorder came first, people came second. And I was left to deal with that on my own. And I also got, sorry, I know this is really long winded. Feel
No,
free to
not at all.
interrupt. I also only at that point had friends in the recovery space. I was going to work, I was coming home to a sober house, and those were my friends. When that relationship ended, I had to put myself out there, and I was ready to put myself out there. It was about 3 years into my addiction recovery, and I was like, I need to start making friends just outside of a recovery space, not just going for coffees with people after a meeting, and that's my form of socializing, which was great for me in the beginning
Yeah.
and really, really necessary for me. And we are all different. So I started making friends with people at work that I liked, and I started going out to bars and clubs and not picking up substances. And sometimes I'd go there for an hour, get triggered, and leave. But I'd always have a way to get home, and I'd always be vocal about it. And slowly I started making friends outside of just a recovery space and started building this life that my eating disorder could start to heal, and my I could go out and have fun without substance, and I could start making friends. But that early part, that really early part, was incredibly lonely for me, and I felt things were very repetitive. And I can't stress this enough. They needed to be for me at that point.
Yeah.
They needed to be because I had a pattern of relapse.
I can imagine how, like that, you need balance.
Yes.
With because if you're only interacting with a certain type of people,
Mm-hmm.
that not necessarily, it's not, I don't want to say it's a bad thing, but um, I can almost imagine it might become monotonous because you're probably only speaking about one thing.
What that
Yeah.
is that is Dalen, nail on the head. I'll tell you a
Mm.
story. About 3 years into my recovery, I was sitting down with my dad for breakfast. We used to meet every single Sunday, And my brother started speaking to me again, and he would come to these breakfasts. And because I had been in an environment that was just recovery based, which again I needed, I really needed, the only thing I could talk about, which is ironic because we're sitting in the setting and people probably only think this is all I talk about. I promise you it's not.
So much, so
Yeah.
much we talk about.
Yeah. Like I like this is just a passion of mine.
Yeah.
Back then, the only thing I could talk about was drugs. It was the only thing, and not even recovery, like drug stories, like trying to shock people with my drug stories or my war stories. And my brother was sitting across the table from me at breakfast and he just lost it. He was like, "Do you know how tiring it is to hear you just only have that? Only have that." And it really hit me. He needed a little bit more empathy, in my opinion, at that point because I was still learning how to navigate life. But I also realized that I need to start seeing that I can also be a fully rounded human being and that's not my only identity.
Yeah.
And that's when also a shift started happening.
I'm glad he gave a bit of hard truth.
Oh, he does. That's my brother's vibe.
I think siblings sometimes I think sometimes siblings need that.
No, he's good at that. I'll give him. He's got a talent.
Okay, so moving on to this or the next question. How did your OCD affect your addiction, or did it develop in sobriety?
Oh, I had OCD my whole life, but it was undiagnosed. When I was a little kid, my OCD. So OCD is interesting. Like you can focus on. There's different kinds of OCD. So there's like harm OCD. There's the cleanliness OCD that people hear about. The organizational
So
OCD.
those are two kind of famous ones.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
But there's I know there's a lot more
Ooh.
to OCD than just those two facets.
100%, 100%. And when I was a kid, I used to have, and I've spoken about this a lot. Even before filming this, like I get very concerned with how I look, and I focus in on that. And I sometimes like will act on a compulsion to try and fix what I look like and how people perceive me. And when I was a kid, like 9 years old, a little boy, I still remember who you are, and I remember your name. You're in my step 4. We'll get to that later. He was just a kid. I'm joking. But he made a joke about like how my hands would turn a different color and my nose would go a different color to my face because I have a disease called Raynaud's.
Yes.
And so my blood flow is weird. But it really stuck with me, and he made a joke. He called me Tony the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So I started wearing makeup as a kid. And I also got mocked for my hair. And the way it was always messy. And so I started trying to straighten it and then like cutting certain parts of my hair out. I ended up growing a sideburn because I shaved the one side of my head, like acting on these weird compulsions. And I wouldn't go to school if my hair wasn't done perfectly. And like I'm talking 9 years old, like I would have a complete a meltdown, a meltdown. Like I was taken to psychologists and psychiatrists. I'm also going to tell you another story. When I was, I think also about 9 or 10. This is so guys, brace yourself. I was in school and we were in the computer room, in the computer lab. And back then, like computer labs were just like really big monitors. And we would play these little games that had like you were collecting apples. They were really basic computer programs, but everything was connected with wires. And I didn't like people looking at me and perceiving me. And I didn't want to put up my hand to say, "Can I go to the bathroom?" and ask my teacher. And we were standing in a circle. We were closing up the class. And I was too scared to say, "Ma'am, can I go to the bathroom?" And as I did this, I just peed all over the floor. The little kids had to back away from the pee that was just coming in the middle of the computer lab. It was hitting the wires of the computers. Like things were almost short circuiting. The teacher was like, "Oh my gosh, come, let's take you to the office." They took me to the office. I disassociated. I remember like walking out of the class and then being in the office. Like I can't remember what my brain was doing to get there. I got there. My mom tried to be a good mom, and she thought, "I'm not going to take her home and have her avoid what just happened. I'll bring her a change of clothes and she can go back to class." But like I was getting bullied, you know?
Yeah.
And she came in, she bought me a change of clothes. And the next thing I remember is I obviously got changed and I'm walking to class and I look down and she forgot to change my socks. And I went to class with pee covered socks. And I started obsessing for years. I was in and out of therapy offices, in and out of doctor's office. I became obsessed with the fact that I couldn't control my bladder. And at 9 or 10, however old I was, that I used to have to get written notes to give to the teachers and say, I don't need to ask. I can just go to the bathroom whenever I want. And most of the time, I didn't really need to go. I just became really obsessed with making sure. I made my mom buy me pads as a kid so I could wear them to school in case felt like I needed to wee and couldn't get to the bathroom in time. And that became this obsession and compulsion that I had, that I needed to control that situation. And it just became this cycle. So my mind would constantly focus on what I look like or certain behaviors that I try to control and how people perceive me and judge me. And my mom was told it was OCD when I was a kid, and she got a book on OCD, but she didn't understand that it was. She just thought it was maybe it's this. Maybe it's this. I'm not sure if it's this. So she never said anything, and I never really got a clear diagnosis on it. And when I moved through high school and I started struggling with the eating disorder, and I started struggling with what I looked like, I started struggling with health anxiety, thinking I was dying all the time. I always thought I was sick. Going to the doctor, making my mom take me to the doctor all the time, like really living in fear consistently and acting on those compulsions. My OCD was a huge part of my life, pre addiction and enduring addiction. I feel like I thought I found a solution to the intrusive thoughts that I had, and it took them away. It gave me confidence. I wasn't worried about my health on
Mm.
drugs. I couldn't give a shit about it. So I just kept transferring coping mechanisms. When I put down the substances, like I said earlier, which really greatly connects everything, I put down the substances, and the eating disorder and what I look like became a focus. So those primary issues, which would be the OCD and the eating disorder, which go hand in hand with me, and body dysmorphic disorder, came to the surface stronger than they'd been before. And that's been my greatest struggle in my recovery when it comes to my mental health.
I don't think people realize how debilitating OCD can be,
Yeah. Yeah.
because like the thoughts don't just go away.
No. No, you have to act, and like your brain tells you need to act on this compulsion, so then the thought will go away.
Yeah.
And it just creates the cycle, and it doesn't ever go away. Like sometimes I did cognitive behavioral therapy in 2023, and sometimes it's about just sitting with the discomfort and not acting on the compulsion, to reteach your brain that you like kind of force this behavioral change and trust your thinking will change in time. That was something I've had, like even now, like we're sitting here and I know the light isn't my ideal lighting. Like I know.
Mm.
But it's just the vibe is supposed to be like this, and I can't look like a filter all the time. And I'm kind of making sure I sit in it and don't try to fix it, even if I get uncomfortable at times. And then you'll see me do this, which I do a lot, and try to hide like one area of my face, you know? Those aren't things I'm doing subconsciously. I'm doing them very consciously, which makes it hard to be present sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to sit with that level of discomfort.
Yeah. I feel like obviously it's a little bit unrelated, but when you have really bad ADHD, it's also like you struggle to be present
100%.
because your brain is just somewhere else.
Yeah.
Um,
They
So,
actually go hand in hand.
oh,
Yeah, there's like I'll look it up. I might be wrong, but from my understanding, they go hand in hand, and sometimes there's like misdiagnoses around certain things as well, or sometimes it's both.
yeah,
Like I got diagnosed with ADHD and OCD,
yeah.
but I've never really treated the ADHD. I don't know why. I don't
Well,
know why.
I don't know. I don't know why I want to start laughing, because it's like obviously it's never great leaving something undiagnosed, not undiagnosed,
Treated.
untreated. Um, but I don't know why I thought they're like so opposite.
Maybe
Yeah,
let's Google it. I'm
yeah.
actually interested because I might be getting my facts wrong.
Because I mean, I whenever a doctor tells me, "Oh, you have this," I have the tendency to like not hyperfixate, but like zone in on that specific thing.
Oh, I
You
do this.
you kind of like
Yeah,
miss. It's always a spectrum,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
sometimes you're so focused on that one thing that you miss the outside of that spectrum, because there are
100%.
obviously far further sides, and different levels to to ADHD, but also I'm not a psychiatrist. So.
Can we tell? Like we're gonna Google it. Like we might be talking up. None of us are registered here. We're just
Yes.
sharing what we
Yeah.
learned basically on the internet and from our therapist.
Yes. Yeah.
But-
I'll put a little blip, or we can add a link
To actual resources?
to actual resources. Please, please.
Yeah, don't take this serious. But no,
Yeah.
just on that, like you spoke about the ADD. My dad had ADD,
Mm.
and it was really, really bad. And in fact, like he grew up, he was treated so differently by his family because they couldn't understand what was wrong. And if you're listening, well, we don't really have this on podcast. Yes, I'm putting wrong in inverted commas. They thought something was wrong with him, and he really struggled in school, and he struggled to learn, and he struggled to do certain tasks that people found quite easy and simple. He only got diagnosed in his 40s. And he said to me on his deathbed, when he, in his 60s, he said the biggest thing he regrets is that he thought he was different his whole life and thought something was wrong with him and no one gave him help. And he only had like 20 years to learn who he was and not hate himself for it.
Yeah, that is. I can. Well, obviously, I don't want to say I can relate to that because I got diagnosed. Well, actually, I got diagnosed as an adult because when you're younger and you go to a GP, sometimes obviously they'll just give pills. They'll just be like, "Oh, I think this is probably it, so I'm just gonna treat it instead of actually sending you somewhere where you can get the real help." So at a young age, I got officially diagnosed with being dyslexic, and that was when I was still a teenager. I was 28 when I decided I'm just gonna go and pay for a psychiatrist and go and do all of the proper things. And she told me, "You have severe ADHD. Your whole life, your brain probably didn't know what the hell's going on." And at 28 only, I got put on ADHD medication, which is obviously so much different from being a child being on education. Because as a child, you're obviously in the education world. You're busy studying. You're growing. You have to focus on schoolwork. And as an adult, you do real life job. Where there's actually so much more severe consequences, and it helped so much. Just being able to focus gave me so much more security because I constantly felt like, oh, I'm gonna mess up in my job.
It's exactly like my dad.
And it's like you can't focus on anything. So other people that don't really understand will wonder why you're doing certain things. But that makes sense in your brain. And then when I eventually got the medication, like what I did in work was like actually just being able to focus made me make less mistakes, and that was one of the biggest differences. Like phoning someone when you're supposed to.
That's
because you didn't forget
task behind,
not putting a like, oh, it's Thursday, I should have phoned on Monday. I just forgot every single day. The reminder sticky notes there,
and you still get the anxiety not doing it, but you get like stuck not doing it.
But you forget about that sticky note and you go on with 10 other different things. Sorry, I don't also know how to go to a second or another.
No, wait, I just want to say
question.
That's fine. We'll go. But like, thank you for sharing that. Like, I feel it's important to be open and honest about this kind of thing, and you don't know who it can help. So thank you for sharing your experience. Do you want to introduce everyone?
Everyone. Oh, okay.
Oh, he's Duck. He.
Massilia is the one with the white. Amicus is the.
They look very similar, but not. Like, it's weird. You're just a baby.
You're just a baby. So to the people that might have been wondering, he's doing okay. He's doing amazing, actually.
Oh, tell people what's going on.
We mentioned it before, but he had an accident where we're not entirely sure what happened because we were away. When we got home, we realized he was limping and his back paw just didn't look okay because it was in a position where, like, I know cats sit weird, but he was sitting in a position that this is not, like, I know pretty much all of the weird positions he sits in. And immediately we rushed him to the emergency vet in the middle of the night. and it turns out it wasn't just a dislocation. He pretty much tore every single ligament in his back leg, and the joint was kind of sitting in his stomach region.
In his tummy.
Like it was literally on the X-rays, you could see where his tummy is, and then there was just the leg bone. Luckily, they did a closed reduction, so no surgery was needed, and we had to keep him completely confined. He wasn't allowed to move because the doctor said it can dislocate without all, obviously, the ligaments and the muscles all being there.
Yeah.
And now he's doing amazing.
I'm so happy to hear.
And he's just a handsome, beautiful boy.
He is. He's so beautiful. There's 4 cats here, and they just joy, just pure joy. Oh. Well, he's going to join us for today.
He has
a few more might join also.
He has so much to say.
He really does, especially on this topic.
Yeah.
You know. Are we going into the next one?
Going to the next question. Have you seen a dealer since the last time you used?
Have I seen a dealer? Okay. I haven't seen my dealer since the last time I used. I haven't seen him, or actually there were like 3 of them. I haven't bumped into them, nothing. I actually moved areas completely as well. However, I have seen drug deals go down, and I have been around that kind of stuff. Where I live, there's a few people around that do struggle with substance misuse issues, and I have seen deals happen. I have seen people high on my drug of choice go into psychosis. I've had to intervene in situations and try calm down and defuse situations. I've bumped into people from my past that I never thought I would ever see again. And I've seen that kind of stuff. The other day, though, I sometimes do get paranoid about it. I'll be very, very honest. The other day, I was driving into an area where I used to use, and a car drove past that was the same make and model of my dealer, and it hooted. And I thought it was hooting at me, and I was like, that's him. That's him. I've seen him, and I like catastrophized the whole thing in my head, but he was just hooting at someone else.
Oh,
you know?
Thank goodness.
Or, you know, like I sometimes found in early recovery, I was looking for my dealer. Like I was looking for the plug. Like I was looking to find myself in situations that would be uncomfortable so that I could catastrophize or be dramatic about it in a way. And I know that's a horrible thing to admit, but I was very much like that in early recovery. Like seeking chaos.
Was it something you were hyper aware of? Like
Very.
Because obviously it is quite obvious, but it's obvious if you know how it looks.
What, like to see if people are
to see deals happen.
I still am hyper aware of it. Sometimes I'll even think a normal interaction is something weird. But if I'm watching from a distance, I was very hyper aware of it then, and I am still hyper aware of it now. Yeah, I know it's weird, and it's not now. It's different. It's like I was also like hyper aware in early recovery of like places I've used. Like we would go into a petrol station or a coffee shop, and it could be completely redone or whatever, and I'd always just be aware of I've used there, I've used there, I've used in this space, I've used on that street, and it was like this constant narrative running through my head, and I think that's just that's just the addiction trying to find its way into my brain. See, I'm having an OCD moment now, and I'll tell you guys. My neck feels incredibly stiff. Like, and it's been like this for a while because I've got a sinus infection today, which is why I've got like a little bit of swelling. But I go like this. My cousin passed from meningitis. Every time my neck gets stiff or I have a headache, I have to constantly check to see if there's some sort of movement, and then I focus in on it, and I need to like get out of my head and not think I'm going to die.
That's literally one of the reasons why I don't want to know some symptoms.
Sorry.
No, not about like there's certain illnesses where I'm like I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
If it's like it starts with this very mundane.
I know.
I'm like, I don't want to know that because I'm probably going to, oh no, my head is sore a little bit too much on the left side today. I'm going to die.
So, and I won't tell you the symptom, and I won't tell anyone out there the symptom, but my cousin had internal bleeding a few weeks ago. She's fine. She's absolutely fine. But she told me, and we're sitting in the car and we're going to go get coffee, and she's sitting next to me, and she tells me the first symptom she got. And then she looked at me and she was like, I'm so sorry I told you that. I'm so sorry I told you that. And I felt so bad because she was just confining a traumatic experience she
Yeah.
went through. And then it became about me. And then I promise you, and there's so much shame in this, for the next 2 weeks, all I could think was I had what she had for the next 2 weeks, and it like was consuming me. And there's so much shame in that. Like she just went through a trauma. I just made it about me.
Even though the likelihood is probably
No, literally like 0.001%
yeah.
chance.
This is I don't know. This one feels a little bit funny.
Yeah.
Because it's something that happens regardless if you are in active recovery or not. But how did your style change?
Best question ever. Whoever asked this, dude, no, I swear I've made a video about this before. I did not know who the hell I was my whole life. Like I'm talking like, see, I'm feeling my neck. You can see this happen in real time. I'm feeling my neck. I didn't know who I was my whole life. Like I put on a character in school. They went after that peeing incident. Like I just wanted to fit in, so I started dressing like everyone else. Then I got to high school and I wanted to stand out because I was told I was weird. So I wanted to control the narrative and I dressed a certain way in high school. Then went to university. I was studying drama and film and I wanted to be like a cool indie kid. So I changed like my whole style with that. Then when I went into active addiction, like really active addiction, like I didn't care. I was just mixed, like it was just whatever I could wear that day or what, like whoever I was going to be around that day, I was going to just dress for that. And then in recovery, I was like, I'm clean and serene now because that's a terminology they use in 12-step spaces. Well, Narcotics Anonymous specifically, clean and serene. And I thought the only way to project that I've gone through this big change is to look spiritual, look like I've had some sort of spiritual awakening. And again, another mask came on at the height of my eating disorder in that relationship with that partner I spoke about, going to meetings all the time. I started wearing like flowy, like maxi dresses that were like tie dye and a lot of accessories like turquoise accessories and just trying to project this image of I'm healing. I've never been so uncomfortable in a style in my whole life. And also, one of the only
Can't
reasons.
imagine you.
Dude,
I can't.
I'll send you photos.
Please.
I've got a video of it. We'll
Yes,
put photos up.
absolutely. We'll put some photos up.
Oh my God.
It's weird when you know someone in a
Yeah.
specific way and you think like I can't imagine you in a tie dye. Like
It
there's
was
no way.
it was just this it was so weird, and everything was baggy also because I had the eating disorder then and I used to hide my body. Like I actually, this is going to be a shocker to a lot of people, I used to like strap myself down just because I didn't like I really struggled in my own body. I really struggled. So the baggy clothes helped, but they were always flowy and bright colors. Bright colors. I wore pink.
Can't imagine.
And I just didn't feel like myself. And then when I started making friends outside of the recovery space and time, and not necessarily that, it was more working on the eating disorder, working on my body. I started discovering my real personal style, and for the first time, I bought like a bodysuit that was tight. And I didn't want to wear something tight out, but I did. And I liked how it made me feel. And I started leaning into that. And then I got into my real personal style, which is like the tight clothes, the corsets, a little bit of lace, a little bit of leather, and started getting the tattoos, which really made me like fall in love with my body and who I was. Just about everyone that's like around the show has tattoos of some sort.
100%.
But I started loving my body, and then I really leaned into, hey, this is who I am, and it could change. But this is the first time, and I said this to Carl like 7 years ago, like I really believe I know my personal style now and who I am, and I don't need to put on a show. Like this is just this is really what I like and what makes me comfortable. Flowy clothes, you guys, I swear.
I still like flowy coats because it's comfortable.
I get it. I get, but when the baggy jeans came back, I'm so down. Like I've got 1,000 pairs of baggy jeans.
Yeah.
And I also I'm very nostalgic
Yes.
for like
Yeah.
not the 90s as the 90s, but 90s music and 90s like technology. Like I'm very nostalgic for that. And baggy pants and stuff will come back. I'm down. I'm wearing that, but I'm wearing it with a tight top.
Yes. This one I'm not 100% sure how to phrase it, but and I'm not sure if they mean like, do you have or did you ever have any crazy dreams in your past? I'm guessing they mean like, do you have dreams about
About,
being inactive?
yes. So they're called using dreams. They're called using dreams and they're so common. They are so, so, so common. I would say for the first like 2, 3 years of my recovery, I dreamt about using substances all the time. And it's the weirdest, weirdest feeling. As I started going into recovery space and life became normalized more without substance, they got less and less. Now, there's two things I want to focus on. When I do have a using dream now, it's the same, and I shared about it's the same using dream all the freaking time. It's like goes in, it's like two variants of it. Either I'm at a club and I am having the biggest party and I'm there with a bunch of people and they're like, "Oh my God, well done. You're sober here. Like you're having so much fun. That's amazing." And they're like praising me for being sober in this club environment and I'm dancing. But in the dream, I'm secretly going behind the bar and taking shots and coming back out. And no one knows that I've relapsed. And that's the dream. The dream is me lying to all these people. And I wake up and there's just so much guilt. Like, and then you quickly realize it's a dream and you move on. But that's been a recurring dream I've had. And then another dream I have is I'm going to find substances. And in my dreamscape, I don't know if you have this. In your dream world, do you have areas that like stay the same?
No.
Like you've got, dude, I have a whole world in my dreams that like I can go from one point to another. And I always try to go to this one petrol station to pick up substances. And then the person's never there for the substance. Then I drive and I go to a mall and I go to the bottom of the mall to pick up substances. They're never there. And it's a constant quest of me trying to find it. And sometimes I end up at my ex-boyfriend's like flat that doesn't exist. It's like in my head, like that's where he lives. And I go up in this flat like lift, and it's like an old school lift. And I walk out, and there's this big room that's a trap house, and everyone's just doing drugs, and the dream ends there. So those are the two recurring dreams I have. But when it comes to dreaming, I don't dream much anymore because I struggle with night terrors. And I haven't for a while now, but I scream in my sleep. I wake up screaming. I give my partner a shock. I have to tell neighbors what's going on. It sounds like like something really bad is happening in the house, but it's just me screaming in my sleep, and it's been like that my whole life.
Mm.
So when I have night terrors, I never remember them. So and that's most of the time. But when I'm not having a night terror and I can remember the dream, it's usually a using dream, which is quite interesting.
So the night terrors are separate then. Oh,
Night terrors I've had since I was a kid. They're a trauma response from
yeah.
something, and they're constant, but I don't remember what it is I'm screaming about or dreaming about. So I wake up in a panic, but I don't know what it is that I'm panicking about.
Probably your brain trying to protect you from seeing that.
I agree. That's my whole life. I don't remember half my life, and I think it's mostly a trauma response, not even a drug response.
I know. I know we often joke about this. Not that it's not funny, but I like it's a horrible experience. I also blocked out most of my life.
It's horrible, hey?
Can't remember anything and don't really know why even.
But I'm
But
the
it's
same
just
thing.
a lot of those memories are
Wiped out, dude.
gone.
I was reading my journals and I saw names. Like there was literally 1 year in my journal. I'm busy writing about this person I was best friends with. I have no idea who he is.
I had my parents on like family video calls and stuff. Ask, do you remember this person? Like,
No. No.
I have no idea who that is. They'll show me photos. I'm like,
I hate it.
still
Oh.
still don't know who that is.
That's the next thing I'm exploring though, and I spoke to Carl about it. Like I struggle with depersonalization, not
Mm.
derealization, and I really want to start digging into that. I think I'm ready to dig into that and the memory issues that I struggle with.
This is this is quite like an interesting one, and also something I've wondered. Is there anything that you learned from your past? I'm gonna phrase this as past as in active addiction. That wait, sorry. Is there anything that you learned from your past that you can continue to do in your life? Like any life lesson? I'm
Yeah.
taking it as life lessons that you might have learned
In
along the
active
way
addiction.
that you haven't completely like.
It made me street smart in a sense. Like, and I don't want to say that to glamorize it, but it did make me more aware of my surroundings. It did make me um, less judgmental as a person. It made me realize that everyone in a shit situation is a human being, and that's something I really, I think I think I knew it before addiction, but I really learned it in addiction. And it removes the veil of this neat society that we see on TV and we learn from sitcoms or whatever. Like, it removes that veil because I was part of that and I came up in that and I grew in that. And as much as people can vilify addicts or people can vilify people who've gone to prison for substance abuse or stealing or fraud or things like that. Um, I don't know, there's a sense of understanding that no one's actually truly a monster,
Mm.
and understanding people have trauma, have past. And I think I learned that very much. I think I did believe that before addiction, but I never really learned it until addiction because I wasn't seen as human for a long time.
It's something I've learned over the last couple of months doing these
Mm.
episodes. It's like the most normal people that have no ill intention can fall into that trap.
100%. 100%. That's, ooh, I shocked myself with that answer because it's hard to think about. Like,
Yeah.
you really have to think. And I'd also I get so careful answering questions like that because I don't want people to think it's a good thing
Yeah.
that I found myself in that position. No one wants that, you know? There were a lot of times I glamorized addiction and I was like, I do want that. Like, I want that chaos. I never really understood what that chaos brought. I only saw the sheeny, like, pretty images in movies around that kind of stuff that I could glamorize, but I couldn't understand the pain behind it. So I also just want to make that
Yeah.
clear
Media
here.
glamorizes it a lot.
Yeah,
It's
and even
not.
if they don't, we
Yeah.
can. You know, we can. A sick person can.
No, I mean, I've heard people speak about it with so much love as well.
Yeah.
But you obviously you can see they're not happy.
Yeah.
But they want you to believe that they are
I do.
doing amazing on it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. People just need to get there on their own, you know?
so this one is deep enough, hopefully, into the episode for YouTube not to demonetize us. How was the first time you used crack?
I never used crack. I used meth.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you.
How was the first?
I did get offered crack, and I was around crack use.
Mm.
I remember clear. I'll tell you the crack story and the first time I used meth story. The crack story, I was at. I've shared this. I actually shared this on the Dopey podcast. I was at a trap house, and I was off my. This was the trap house, and I shared about it before, where there were mattresses everywhere. There was a literal shit on the walls, like a lot of stuff going down in that place. And someone did offer me crack that night, and I was like, I want to do my meth. I want to do my took. I want to do my cat. Like, I want to do those substances. I'm not going to do that. So I was like, no, thank you. And they kept like pushing. They're like, please try this, please try. I was like, nah. And I didn't care. And I knew these people. I was like, oh, I'm not going to have that. And that specific location was actually a place where there was quite a bit of sex trafficking going on within that environment, and I know a lot of it had to do with crack use. So my life could have gone very differently at that point had I tried that drug, just because of the person handing it to me, not because of the drug.
Yeah.
And then first time I tried meth, uh, I was very drunk. I'd relapsed on alcohol and pills and all the kind of stuff I was doing before. I had just got out of rehab. My cousin had passed away. Like, I was off my face. Like, I was really in a bad place. Got very drunk, went to this guy I was seeing's house. He brought another couple back from the club we were at, and he was trying to get us into a situation that I didn't consent to at that point or whatever. But he did ask, and I said, I'm not consenting to this couple situation. We just met. And the couple gave him a substance. And I knew that this guy did a lot of drugs. So it's not like it wasn't a surprise to me at all. And he was like, do you want to try this? And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to try it. But I was so drunk. Like, I couldn't see straight. When I got drunk, I got drunk. Like, it was really bad. And he took out the drugs and he started like smashing it, like with a pestle and mortar or whatever. And he puts it out. He's like, this is cat. So I thought it was the drug cat. which in South Africa is similar to methadone overseas. So I did the drug, and then 3 days later, I hadn't slept. We had done things I never thought I would ever do in my entire life. And my heart was beating through my chest, and I looked at him, and I remember I was scared, I was frightened, but I also had like this insane, unshakable feeling of confidence, and like I was insatiable. Like not like nothing would like I just wanted and wanted and wanted things. Like I let go of a lot of my the things I feared around sex, the things I feared around certain things were lifted on the substance, and my heart was beating through my chest, and I was like, "What's going on? Is this normal?" He's like, "Oh no, don't worry, it was actually crystal meth." So that's how that cycle started. And I went between crystal and cat. But I know you make that face, right? I think, and I'm not trying to take blame off him, I do believe if he had told me it was crystal, I still would have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is shocking because, like, tell people at least what you're giving them.
Yes.
And of course, that's awful. But I really do want to say that I knew what he was about. I knew what he was like. I knew the situation I was in. And I think I still would have done it.
Yeah, that phase comes from, obviously it's never okay to give someone something and lie about it,
Yeah.
but it's obviously also a completely different environment.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm definitely not going to make not an excuse, but the thing about like, oh,
you still would have done, yeah. There's still, I needed to consent. I didn't consent. I hadn't consented, but I do believe I would have. And also, like, that was the kind of stuff that happened in that relationship, and a lot of it we'll get to. I'm sure questions like that will come up.
The next one is actually, I want to say something that would definitely be asked in line with using certain substances, is how did you deal with cravings in early recovery? Because that's one of the things that obviously gets that's why people continue using.
I just made a video about this. Like I just did like a quick a video on Instagram about this. My cravings in early recovery would be triggered by anything. I remember once I was at my dad's office and I was making coffee and I spilt Canderel, so sweetener. I spilt some sweetener on the thing and I was triggered. I was like, that looks like cat. And then the one time I was using sea salt and that looked like meth, like it spilt. And I remember phoning my sponsor and being like, I want to use, this is a sign. Like everything was a sign that I needed to use. Every single thing was a sign. But what I did in that moment was phone my sponsor and have someone be very rational to me and be like, that's just sea salt. That's just Canderel in your coffee. Like what is actually going on?
Yeah.
Then it would help do something called trigger mapping. So I could identify what triggered it. And sometimes it was, I was bored. I was lonely. I just wanted some chaos, or I wanted some excitement, or a trauma came up, or I saw my mom and we had a fight, or I was anxious about seeing my mom. Sometimes, Dalen, sometimes it was nothing. Sometimes there was no real trigger to identify, and that was okay too. Because what was explained to me was, you're an addict, these things are going to come up. And when there was nothing that could be identified, I just had to sit with the discomfort, like we described with the OCD.
Yeah.
I just had to sit with it and not act on it. I could tell on myself. I could phone another person. For me, I do the 12 steps. I could go to a meeting. And listen to other people's stories and learn from them, or share what I was struggling with as well. Or I could just sit with the discomfort and not act on it and realize the world doesn't end. Or I implement the 24-hour rule, where I go, okay, I'm having this thought and that's okay. I'm not going to act on it for 24 hours. And then the next 24 hours comes and either I'm not thinking about it at all, or if I am, I'm going to do it for another 24 hours. So implementing that just for today thing. And then sometimes it just gets to the silly point where I will just shake my head. Like if I'm having an intrusive thought like that, I'll just shake my head and just shake the thought out. I don't know why, and I know it's silly, but it really helped me. And another thing was like grounding exercises. So just identifying
Love
things.
those.
Do you love grounding exercises?
Love
Wait, what's your favorite? Because I do this. I just feel things.
I want to say all of them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I need to go through every step
Yeah.
of grounding. I don't have a specific one.
Yeah.
Um, so like just noticing my surroundings and being aware of all your senses, just
Yes.
to get back in your head, because it's like whenever you're dealing with those feelings, it's almost as if you're here and your body is here.
100%.
And that feeling is probably one of the best. I don't really want to say best, but for me, one of the best ways to get out of like a severe panic attack, or when you're
Same.
feeling anxious. It's just being aware of your surroundings, grounding yourself.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't. I just learned something. I didn't really know like that would be used in other scenarios as well.
100%. 100%. Grounding techniques, I think, are fantastic. Like, I'm really good with touch, like textile stuff. That brings, and we discussed it earlier, like deep derealization or depersonalization. For me, I really struggle with that, and I struggle being present if I really like am in a situation where my mind's taking over or whatever. Same with the craving. So I'll feel things, I'll touch things, I'll listen for things and try bring myself back into my body. And I found that to be incredibly helpful. So for me, if when it came to dealing with cravings, it was telling on myself, because in a sense, I hold myself accountable to another person. I just tell them I'm feeling this. Now I can't really go in secret. Secrets keep us sick.
Yeah.
Tell one person I trust without judgment that this is what I'm feeling and have a conversation around that. Support, go to a support group. So for me, 12 steps, or for another person, it could be if they're religious, a religious organization, or just a group of friends, a support group online, online forums, whatever it looks like for you. Human connection can bring you back. Then just sitting with the discomfort if necessary, and just not acting on it and learning you can get through that. 24-hour rule, or doing a hobby, like doing something child you would like for 5 minutes. It's also very nostalgic and kind to yourself in a way.
I also learned something about, because it's something I wondered, but I don't know why I never asked, like the importance of a sponsor. But obviously that would make sense. Like if you feel like that's the one person you can contact to just
Absolutely.
make you a bit more rational, because a lot of those cases would most likely be quite irrational. You saw something that looks similar to something else, and just being like, it's just salt.
Yeah.
Like, don't.
Yeah. It's just salt. You're gonna see
Just,
it.
yeah.
You're gonna see salt. Like, what is it you really? What are you really trying to to get out of seeing the salt as meth?
Yeah.
You know, like really getting to the core of it, having someone you can trust without judgment. And again, that's in a 12-step environment. There's sponsors. In the real world, you can find it in a friend you trust, or another recovering addict, or a forum, whatever it is. But just knowing that there's a person there that's able to listen and give you and listen without judgment, and sometimes say things you need to hear, is really humbling and grounding. Because when I'm stuck with this, it's not a safe place to be.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. It's amazing.
It's so great.
Okay. Not the time to get hyperfixated.
Are you thinking of the cat hair? That's my life. That's my life. And Carl gets upset because it gets on his clothes.
Yeah.
So he's got his little thing to take it off. And because I wear like lace or leather, don't have to worry about it. It's not a concern.
I'm gonna start wearing leather.
Yeah, and lace.
And like, absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't get on that. It's easy to come off.
I remember the one time I bought black chinos.
Cat hair everywhere.
Cat hair.
Yep.
And it struggles. It's not like jeans. For some reason, with chinos, it really just gets,
because it gets in the fiber.
It gets in the. It's. I think I'm guessing jeans are woven too tight for it to really stick.
Yeah.
But man, it was horrible. Every time I wanted to go out, sitting there with a roller.
And it does not. You'll find more, and then you'll get in the car, and it'll be in the car.
Yeah, because my seats are also not covered in cat hair.
Yes, exactly. No matter where you go, they come with you.
Also, I love wearing black shirts, and
that's
at work people just knew. They're like, oh, didn't you wash your clothes? I'm like, no, my cats just love sitting on fresh laundry.
Yes,
love it.
I'm covered.
I don't know if it's the smell or if it's like because it's warm, it just got off.
Why they want to be close to you. That's how I like to think of it. But it's probably just.
I usually just now I've made peace with it. I just leave the cat hair. It's like people can know.
Part of my identity now.
Absolutely.
And they just come with me wherever I go. I've got a waffle and a nacho. and it's fine.
Yeah.
Carl's like trying to get it off. I'm like, just surrender to the cat hair.
Make peace with it.
Yeah.
Especially now that we have 4 cats.
Oh yeah, you guys are. Aaron and Dalen have 4 cats. Dream.
We love it. We absolutely love it.
So you can have kitties.
Yeah.
We've got a tiny place. We've got 2, and it's a lot.
Yes. What is nice is there's a yard for them. There's a nice big yard where they can go out and play.
Yeah.
They obviously bring us little
Gifts.
hunted gifts.
Death. Just bring death into the
which
home.
is sad. The worst was the one bringing in a tiny little mouse, which we saved. Obviously, it was a baby. We saved him. And then the best one was Amika's bringing in a leaf.
A leaf? Oh no, my cats do that because they don't have access to like lots of little critters. Like they'll find a lizard once in a while. But Waffles will come in with a leaf and he's like, I got this.
I got
this.
I was so proud of him.
I'm also like, well done. You can keep the leaf there.
Yeah.
Shame.
And he goes and plays with it and it's like, it's the most wholesome, adorable thing
and
ever.
A stick.
Oh.
My cats have brought sticks in. Oh, shame, little babies. They just want to hunt.
Yeah.
They just want to hunt.
It's instinct. Okay. We ready to go back into questions?
Questions. My voice is going. I'm sorry if I have like vocal fry. I have a little bit of vocal fry today. Hello. You know, like when people try to do like a voice for podcasts, like, and they talk like that. I feel like that's what it sounds like, but I actually have vocal fry right now.
I'm happy that I'm just using my regular voice. Otherwise, I would have been struggling right now.
Oh, it's sore.
This one I feel like has been touched on the podcast before.
Yes.
And I think it's a really good question. How do you navigate sobriety while not falling into codependent relationships?
Oh, I did that. And I did that. Like I said previously, like I got into a relationship with someone who was also in early recovery. I was in early recovery. The only thing we had in common was recovery. We would go to meetings together. It became our identity. If this person was struggling or going through something, it would affect me. When I was going through my eating disorder, that was really hard on this person's recovery, you know, trying to fix me, trying to save me. And it would turn around. And that became very toxic. It was too early for me to be in a relationship with someone also trying to heal. And I mean, in some cases it does work. For me, it didn't work, and it could have ended very badly. Luckily, it didn't. But that became hard, and I started to, in a sense, and you've heard a lot of guests speak about this, use people as a substance. So I would get my fix of a partner's joy. And if they're feeling sad, I would feel sad, and I'd want to step into this role to be the only person that they speak to, and not only person that they speak to, like the person they go to for advice, and I go to them for advice, and we lean on each other, and this Bonnie Clyde kind of relationship that was my idea in active addiction would make its way into a recovery setting. And when that relationship ended, I made the decision to not get into a relationship again for a while, and I didn't. But I still kept making very bad decisions around relationships. I still kept meeting people that were not good for me, people that I knew were struggling with other things, and I would step into the role to try and fix them. I would meet someone who I knew is a cheater and get into a relationship with them, and then they cheat. And I'm like, forgive them because I can fix them because I think I'm God in that sense. And then they do it again, and then it's like the cycle repeating itself. And I did become very codependent. I came codependent on specifically relationships, not friends, not family. It was always a partner. I was always looking for a partner. Even my journals when I was a kid, I was always like, I like this person and that person. Like I was always focusing on people to get a fix of something. Then when the relationship before when I met my partner ended, I was single for a while after that. And I kind of invested time back into recovery spaces, going to a bit more meetings, going for coffees with people in recovery, reconnecting to that side of my life as well as the side of my life outside of that, and finding that balance. And in finding that balance, I got to figure out who I was in all situations as myself and like let go of the mask. Once the mask came off and I started dressing the way I wanted to dress, being the person I wanted to be, learning what kind of music I liked. Like I was just I also would do this thing of taking on the people I was dating's personality. Like a guy would like a specific kind of music, and all of a sudden I like that music.
The best thing ever.
Yeah. Right? And I thought that's what I was doing. I thought I was being a cool girlfriend, but I didn't really care. I was just trying to be their version of a perfect person. And that was to my detriment because I never learned who I was. So I let go of all of that and kind of started rebuilding after that relationship before my partner now. Then I met my partner and he likes like really like completely different music to what I like. He likes different fashion to what I like. And not once did I feel like I needed to change or pretend for him. Like that difference complemented us. And I could actually be present within that relationship without playing pretend. And I think it took a really long time to learn that. Like, yes, there were times I was codependent. There was times I manipulated a situation to be in a relationship by pretending to be someone I wasn't, which is cruel. And I did those things in recovery. But I needed to get to a point where I saw how detrimental it was to me and start to heal that side for me. And I did it when the time was right for me. If that makes sense.
Did you ever experience similar things with non-romantic relationships?
Like friendships and stuff.
Yeah, like codependent friend
Yes.
relationship.
Yes, I did. I had like a core group of friends, and it was three of us. And I was in recovery, and we were very, very, very close. It got to the point that it was my whole life, and that's fair enough. But my whole week was planned around seeing these people, and I love them. Let me be clear, I love them. It was actually four of us seeing these people, going out partying with these people, doing what they were doing, and I started putting myself and my recovery in danger. So there was one person who was my best friend in the whole world, and we would go out together, and he drank and did all the kinds of things, never in front of me. And I just ended up my identity revolved around this friendship. And one night we went out and he pulled out drugs in front of me, which he'd never done before. And I could immediately see at that point, I had got myself into a situation where this person was my world, my best friend, my identity. And it led me down a really dangerous path where I stopped caring about consequences for myself and only cared about that person and what that person wants, which led me into a situation that was incredibly dangerous for the rest of my life. And that's when I had to take a step away from that and also reevaluate. There's been little lessons of reevaluation.
Yeah.
Some relationships are like, can seem codependent, but they're really healthy. You know, other relationships can become very unhealthy and toxic, and you need to put down boundaries or take a step back. And it's not coming from a place of cruelty. And that's what I needed to remember. It's not about people pleasing, it's about protecting my safety and the safety of another person. And it's okay to put down a boundary. But it's not this process of, as soon as I put the substance down, that was fixed.
Yeah.
Those things did happen, and I had to learn by going through them to figure out what it is I wanted and what was healthy and what was not.
Okay.
If you can hear this when I'm on the mic going, I have acid reflux.
Oh.
I have esophageal reflux, and it's awful. You might have to cut this out. If you can hear it, leave it in. Listen. No, it's gone.
It's gone.
Go on. I'm going to go like, if you see me randomly do this. I'm sorry. I told you I wouldn't swallow in front of the mic. I never said anything about
absolutely. That's fair. I'm only laughing because I know you really well.
Yes.
It's I don't find any of this hilarious.
It is hilarious. It is. It's awful. As it's happening, I'm like, why now? Why now? I took my medication this morning, and I was just going.
Your body just hates you.
No, but it's also a consequence from the eating disorder. So everyone out there, if you are really struggling with your eating disorder and can't see the future consequences, my esophagus is a mess. Like, it's dangerous. I have to go for scopes like every year. It's a problem. Okay. So this could be you. You could be sitting here doing something really cool, and all of a sudden your body just starts talking. So
it's kind of one of the scary things about eating disorders.
Yeah.
It's not as visible. I want to say not nearly as visible, even though I've seen people that look 100% fine, but then later on you find out they're not. But that's definitely one of the scary parts, is you don't know.
Yeah, and that's
because there's not many signs.
You want me to blow your mind now? Like, even that, like saying to someone with an eating disorder, not me, I'm healed, so don't feel bad about this. Like saying to someone with an eating disorder, oh, I would never have known, can be offensive to the person with the eating disorder because they want you to see them as sick. So no matter how you kind of verbalize it, it becomes a very dangerous road to go down, and it's so complicated.
It's sometimes difficult.
Yeah.
like navigating
Yeah.
and not being a terrible person because you just
100%.
like, yeah,
100, because you're trying to
because you
help.
don't know how they
Yeah.
took whatever you said, even
Yeah.
though like you didn't mean anything
Yeah, you're
bad
trying to
behind it. You're
help.
trying to help. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and anything, it's a complicated disease. I actually try to make a video about it on this channel and go into that kind of
Mm.
detail, and YouTube will not have any like content about it at all. You'll see if we decide to keep this in.
Yeah.
If this, you'll see there'll something will come up just because there's a tiny bit of conversation about educating people about it. It'll go down because people can misuse that kind of information so quickly. It's crazy.
You can always leave it in the original, and
Yeah,
then just
yeah.
repost if it doesn't
No, I
go.
think it'll be. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather get this information out.
Yeah.
Like, let's put it out there. But they so strict with it. It's so weird. Like, you can talk about drugs, you can talk about whatever. But if you mention eating disorders in a healthy way, where you're trying to educate, they'll still take it down because there are people that will do content that is designed to trigger eating disorders. So I think that the algorithm isn't advanced enough to figure out the difference between the two.
So they just go and.
Yeah.
Were there points in your addiction where you didn't feel sick enough to stop?
Yes. I think there's this misconception that when you start doing drugs or substances, that if you don't look a certain way, act a certain way, or have the exact same consequences as something as horrific as the next person, that you're not really struggling and you're not really suffering and you don't deserve to ask for help and you're not necessarily an addict.
Yeah.
It took me a while, like especially with the drinking. I think I knew I needed help when I was on meth. I knew I needed help when I was on cat. I knew I needed that kind of help. I didn't want it, but I knew I had a problem. With the alcohol, because I wasn't like red in the face and physically dependent on it in the beginning, or I wasn't, you know, living in a car, which I did at the end, but I wasn't like doing that kind of stuff, like ticking these boxes of what people think alcoholism or binge drinking or addiction is. I didn't fit that image. I didn't think I was worthy of help. And then sometimes you could go, and there's a toxicity around this in a lot of recovery spaces, actually. Someone can go in, they can be super young, and they've been in active addiction for a year. And in that year, they have destroyed their life. You know, they want to, maybe they're still living at home. Maybe they haven't lost everything, but they want to not be alive anymore. They don't want to be present. They're scared of things. Their family relationships are ruined, and they really want to get better. And they'll come into that space, and someone will say to them, "How long have you been using for?" And they'll say a year, and they'll kind of get sideswiped. Like, I've been doing this for 30 years, you know, like, what does this one know? That is, for me, I think that is the biggest problem in recovery spaces because it's telling people you're not sick enough to be here. I'm sicker than you. And it becomes this competition of who's the sickest, who's had the most consequences, who has the most war stories. And it stops people from asking for help before things can get even worse. Like,
Yeah.
why do you have to have a more horrific situation to then come in and ask for help? Everyone who is struggling and wants help has earned a seat in a recovery space, regardless of what that looks like. Then there's people that are like, so what's your drug of choice? And someone will say, weed. And then the person they're speaking to will go, well, I was addicted to tuck. You know, I was doing, to people not from South Africa, crystal meth. Like, I was addicted to this kind of stuff, and start comparisons. But the person coming in with a meth addiction could be in psychosis, could have ruined their life, could have gone into financial disarray, could have ruined their studying, could have, you know, whatever. People react differently. What is helpful for one person, because it could be medicinal and is medicinal for a lot of people, could be harmful for someone who struggles with mental health, struggles with addiction, you know,
Mm.
and they can feel dismissed in a recovery space because it's not as hard as the other drug. At the end of the day, in my early recovery with the drinking, I didn't think things were that bad, even though everyone was telling me it was that bad, because I was still going to university. I was still studying. I was still able to go out with friends. Yes, there were some consequences along the way. Yes, I wrote my car off. Yes, I nearly died a few times, but it's not as bad as we see in the movies. So I'm not worthy of going and asking for help in that sense. Um, and I was also very young. And I mean, I went to my first AA meeting early 20s, and I didn't feel like I fit in because I was too young to be there. I don't have as much drama in my life as these people, and it was a very good excuse to tell myself I didn't belong because I was young, because I'm not as bad as everyone else, and everyone else didn't make it easier either. What I would say to someone is, if you are struggling with something, no matter how long you've been using, no matter what the substance, no matter the consequence, no matter what you look like, no matter what you represent to the outside world, no matter your consequences, if you are struggling and you want help, you deserve help. You are worthy of help. You are still an addict. You are
Absolutely.
still an addict.
It's one of the things I've very quickly noticed about certain people talking about recovery.
Yeah.
And it actually makes me a little bit sad thinking that younger people, even if it's a 1 year or 10 years,
Yeah.
it's a problem that you have, and you're actually putting in the work to go and get help, and then you're being shot down by someone older because, oh, I was addicted on some hard substance for 20 years.
Yeah.
You smoking weed, it has nothing on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, I've heard some horror stories of people that went into full-on psychosis
Yeah.
from weed.
Yeah.
Because it's just something that does not work well with their brain chemistry.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And then people will dismiss it.
Yeah.
Like, I know people that are scared to come into a recovery space and say what their drug of choice is because they're worried people are going to dismiss them. And my whole thing is trying to break that barrier. Like, if you're struggling with something, it doesn't matter what it is you're struggling, your recovery is valid and your addiction is valid. Because I feel like a lot of people are scared to call themselves an addict if it's not heroin, if it's not meth. Like, I was an addict well before I picked up meth. I was struggling with thins, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I could have gotten help then, and my recovery would still be worthy now.
Yes, absolutely.
Just getting some water and drinking away from the mic.
I lost my water.
Do you want some?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I feel like I've been saying way too many times that, I like this question. But this is one I've also wanted to know. What's your favorite tattoo on your body?
Okay, I love this question. That's a TikTok sound. Okay, I love this question. So there's a few. And so how do I I'm trying to think which one's my favorite. So I've got like a favorite like design or favorite memory or something like that, but I'm going to start with my favorite memory. And this is Wednesday Addams, the original Wednesday Addams, not actually original, that was the second original Wednesday Addams, Christina Ricci. And I'm going to tell y'all a story. So when my dad passed away, I used to call ourselves Gomez and Wednesday. And I wanted a Gomez and Wednesday Addams tattoo. And my last tattoo artist and I had a falling out. We were dating. And I needed a new artist and I didn't want to go see a man. And I saw this name on Instagram that I know a lot of people were going to. I didn't know how this person identified what they were gender-wise or whatever. And their name was Rexo. And I was like, their art looks amazing. And I clicked on the profile, and the like last picture this person had posted was of Wednesday and Gomez Adams, a tattoo design. And I was like, okay, this is a sign. I'm going to message this person. I'm going to speak to them. And I went and I felt safe. I went and got this tattoo. But as I saw this person, I was like, oh, fuck. That person was Carl, my boyfriend, who I've been with for 7 years.
That's amazing. I'm now I'm even more happy about that question because that is extremely wholesome.
Yeah, so like basically if the Addams Family didn't exist, that cartoon that was in a newspaper a million years ago, I would not know Carl. And now I do.
And now you do.
Yeah. So that's my favorite tattoo, I think. Story-wise, favorite tattoo.
Mine's the
What's yours?
left and right.
I saw this. So Dalen's got left and right written on his left and right hand. Brilliant. Do you know? This is how I know left from right.
See, while I'm driving, I can just look at them. Like,
that's
yeah.
Smart, man. God, sorry, I'm missing nails. It's a whole thing. I ripped them off by mistake.
That must be painful.
It is.
I don't even want to know.
You can even
Just
see like a little bit of like the pain there. See that? Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just torturing Dalen today.
it's okay. And I'm still gonna have to edit this.
Yeah,
so
I'm
gonna
so
be
sorry.
gonna be tortured. It's fine. I'm literally just being dramatic now. If animals could smoke, I don't know what's. I actually no. Let me rephrase that.
Yes.
If animals could do drugs, do you think there would be more cats or more dogs in rehab?
Cats. Easy. Easy. And I will debate this to the death. Okay? Think about it. No, just give first me. Okay. Cats would 100% be in rehab more, and I'll tell you why. Have you had a cat? Yes, you've got 4 cats.
Yes.
Have you given your cat catnip?
Yes.
Okay, let me unpack 2 different cats that I have at home. First of all, cats are chill, they're independent, they don't need no one else. They constantly, I feel like they're incredibly smart but like isolated, and then they're going to find drugs and be like, "Oh my god, this is a solution to all the trauma I've been carrying my whole life for being a cat and just killing animals every single day and like rats and stuff," right? Or this person just hugs me every day, I need to escape them. Oh my god, heroin. I feel like cats would find that path. My cats, if I give them catnip, they go insane. And now we've got 2. We've got Waffles and we've got Nacho. Waffles is like me. Nacho is like Carl, his dad. Waffles will do the catnip. He will do it as quickly as possible, get all of it, and then not enjoy the high. Once he's finished, he will go through the carpet and go carpet surfing, trying to find little remnants of the catnip. And he will go on a mission doing that for hours and hours and hours. Very relatable shit. Then you've got
Reminds me of some of the stories people have talked. Like, yep.
Yep. Then you got Nacho, who's like Carl. And Nacho will just enjoy the high. He'll roll around in it like it's weed. He'll like healthy weed. He'll roll for him. He'll roll around in it. He'll have fun. He'll walk up to Nacho. He'll be like, "What's up?" Nacho will hit him and try to get like the stuff from him. It's a whole thing. I've seen this dynamic play out. And I don't believe a dog would need to escape anything. Unless it's grown up in a really bad environment. If it's in a happy home and it's a dog by nature, it's nature versus it's just all nature versus nurture.
I'm gonna disagree with you because my reasoning is the dogs probably landed up in addiction by accident because they're always good boys.
Yes, exact. But how do you land up in addiction by accident? Were they trafficked?
Maybe
The cats.
The cats.
See,
it's the cats.
So it always starts with the cats.
But I feel like dogs would be more likely to go seek out help. I'm pretty sure cats would not. There would be no cats in rehab because they would just be okay with being that chaotic.
Oh my God, you're right.
They thrive off it.
You're right. Like the dog would be like, "You know what, Dad?
I have a problem.
I made a mistake.
Yes.
Like this happened. Take me to rehab." And it would do the program. Like the dog would go in and he would sit down. He'd do the 12 steps. He'd get a treat at the end and he'd really try.
Yeah.
A cat would go into rehab and just manipulate its way through.
Absolutely. And still be inactive.
And they will bring the drugs into the facility.
Yeah. That's giving cat energy.
Yeah, and it would like lie on the bed just smoking opium. I feel like
I'm glad I could change your mind on this one.
Okay, Dalen changed my mind. Dogs would be in rehab more. Cats would probably be more addicts.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. There would be so many more cat addicts than dog addicts.
Oh my God, you're so right.
But seeking out help, 100%
Dog.
would be more dogs.
Yeah.
I think judging by how much our cats like catnip, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want help.
My cat would murder me for catnip.
Yeah.
And I really have a feeling Waffles might.
Mm.
Oh my God.
They just enjoy it so much.
And you know what? Nacho gives dog vibes. My cat Nacho, who's chilled with the drugs. He gives dog vibes.
Maybe he was raised by some dogs.
He could have been.
Or was a dog in his previous life. You never know.
I think he was a human in his previous life, and I ask him all the time, and he always reacts. Nacho was a human, and he remembers everything.
Yeah.
Ask your cats; it's amazing.
I just wish they could talk. They would be so rude, though. I can just imagine, like, you care for them so much, give them everything, and they just.
Then they steal your wallet for drugs.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Cats. But you changed my mind on the nuance of that question.
Yeah.
Changed my mind. That is amazing. Carry on. Holy shit. Dogs.
So I think this is probably this could probably be someone that's followed your journey for a while because you've been in active recovery for
13 years.
13 years now. Do you ever have times when you're struggling, like just struggling in life and think of relapsing?
So I love this question, as I keep saying that. I love this question.
I think Instagram came through. There's some brilliant questions
Yes,
here.
this has been the best. I really enjoy this. Oh my God, I love you guys so much. Anyone, I really love you guys. um, I have gone through a lot of situations in my recovery. Of course, within 13 years, I've lost people. I've grieved. I've struggled with my mental health. I watched my dad pass. Gone through a lot of trauma within my recovery space. Um, there was only one time in the whole 13 years, like, that things got really, really bad to the point that I wasn't almost in control of my actions. So in 2023, and I made a video about it. It's on this channel. I went into psychosis, completely sober. I went into psychosis. It was based in my OCD and a consequence of that. Um, in that time, my ex from active addiction, one of like the ex I speak about quite a lot, ended up on the street I was living on. And I kept seeing him and saw him. And I was in psychosis when this was happening. And I knew I had access so quickly to my drug of choice in 2023. And because I was so irrational and really struggling in the psychosis and feeling very unseen by the people around me who were just trying to help me because they couldn't see what I was seeing, it felt like I could go there and get what I needed easily. Easily. And one day I had a fight with my partner who was just trying to help me, like trying to get me to take medication, antipsychotics. And I was like, I'm not taking this. And I got in my car and I drove out the house and I almost thought, like, on this impulse to go there. Even in psychosis, I didn't do it. I was like, I've got too much to lose in psychosis. I didn't act on that. There have been plenty of times in early recovery where I thought I could just use on this, or I could use on this struggle and no one would question it. And then I did those things we discussed previously, which is what dealing with the cravings. And that would pause that thought. And then as time went on, that thought got less and less. So with the behavioral change and consistent behavioral change of just not going to pick up, my thinking started changing in time and the thought got less and less. When my dad died and was sick for those 9 months, that thought didn't even cross my mind. But in psychosis, that thought did come up. But I didn't act on it. And I think because I had so many years of tools behind me, that it happened quite naturally.
So
So,
that's why those tools are very important. Do
exactly.
you think access to it increases cravings?
I think, as you know, someone changed my mind on this recently. I think if you want it, you get it. It doesn't matter where you are. If you put yourself in a situation like that day, my friend pulled out the drug of choice in front of me. I could have just easily have done it, and a part of me wanted to, but I still, like, obviously, but I still didn't do it, and it didn't have this lasting effect that I drove home and thought about using. But in the instances where, even in active addiction, when I told myself I was going to stop, if I wanted drugs, I was going to go get drugs. I can make the access happen.
Yeah.
I can make it happen. But being in close proximity to it obviously does make it easier to act on an impulse. So the more distance you have
Yes.
between
Yeah.
it is better. Like the fact that my ex was so close to me,
Yeah.
that could have been a really impulsive decision where I acted on a choice and then all choice was taken from me. So distance does help. Having those strategies in place where people say block the plug's number, but you can know it off by heart. You're still adding an extra layer of work to act on the impulse. So you have to get the number again or type it out again. Like you still adding all these extra impulse control things that can give you time to make a decision before you act. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not just saying that.
Okay.
Can you be in a relationship with a recovering addict as a recovering addict?
Of course you can. Of course you can. Like that kind of stuff happens a lot. People can get into relationships with other recovering addicts and thrive, and I've seen it. My issue with me, I think timing matters. And I think the power dynamic is something that needs to be discussed. I got into a relationship with someone. We had the same amount of clean time when I first got sober. They had a bit less than me, and they were struggling a lot more than I was. Um, and the only thing we had in common was substances. No one was hurting each other. Everyone wanted the best for each other. Everyone wanted recovery. It just didn't work out. Then there's other situations where someone could have like 15 years of sobriety, and I've seen it a lot. Looking at you, camera. I've seen it a lot where someone could have like 15 years of sobriety, and then a newcomer, we call it, like, say a newcomer comes into the space, young, vulnerable, naive. They see someone with 15 years of sobriety in front of them, and they think they have all the answers to life. They've done this. I want what they have. If those two people get into a relationship, which should never happen,
Because they're basically putting them on a pedestal.
100%, there's a power dynamic that can become very dangerous, make a person very vulnerable, and be taken advantage of, even if it's not on purpose. There's a power dynamic that can come in there. So those are the kinds of things I would say be very careful of and navigate those things. I also think if you're in early recovery, sometimes getting into a relationship with someone else in a recovery space is very dangerous, because if one person relapses, there is that codependency thing we spoke about, and it could lead someone down a path. Or the only thing they have in common is substances, and once that person leaves, then what else do you have? You haven't gotten a chance to know yourself. But like other relationships I've seen just thrive. Like people meet each other in a recovery space. They've both got the same amount of clean time. They both do their own version of the work or whatever it is. They date and they live happily ever after. I think it's about, you have to, that age old saying of loving yourself, learning who you are before receiving or
I was
taking
literally
life.
just about to say that. I'm like, I'm not a therapist, but you
Yeah.
need to be happy with yourself first.
100%.
But I also think it's sometimes unfair how harshly some of those people can get judged, because what if they just have that connection
100%.
outside of just the
100%.
fact that they're both in recovery? There could be so much more, and then
100%.
immediately you'll just get judged because, oh no, you met in that space.
And that's the thing. Okay, this is what I want to say. Patterns matter. I think patterns matter when it comes to this. Someone could meet someone in a recovery space, fall in love, get married, have children, live happily ever after. And I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
But if there's a pattern around a relationship, and not from the one person, where they go from relationship to relationship to relationship within a recovery space, and they keep having these epic fallouts where there's chaos and there's this person did that and finger pointing and all this kind of stuff, and it's a pattern, that's something that needs to be looked at. Because once you've established a pattern in a space like that, something, you are seeking something outside of yourself in a space that's supposed to be safe for you and for other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think patterns matter.
This is something we've talked about personally quite a lot. What are you cross addicted to?
So you see there's a camera light here and mics here, camera here, video there, social media.
Social media. Yeah.
But I changed my relationship with social media. This is what I always say. Okay, wait, let me first list things I've been addicted to in recovery. Frappuccinos, which is an iced coffee. Social media. Tattoos. These are things I'm just saying technically addicted to. Coffee. There was a time I went through an energy drink phase. People. Attention. Botox. Oh my God, Botox. I can't move my eyebrows. I went through that filler phase that ruined my freaking life, which is why I have sinus issues now. Haven't had fillers in 3 years. Just things like that. All of that is kind of things. When I identify what a cross addiction is, I look at how it impacts my life. So there are things that can be healthy and then aren't necessarily an addiction, like we discussed with Brendan, tattoos. The tattoos helped me get in touch with my body. They didn't take me out financially. I was thinking them through. I wasn't acting too impulsively. Sometimes I was. What the fuck? Who cares? Getting to love my body and having a positive impact on my life. The only negativity I've ever gotten from my tattoos comes from other people's judgment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I know you get it.
100%. You do open yourself
to judgment.
When you get tattoos. That's why I always tell people, like, when they're like, if this comes up in conversation, I usually, like, when you get different types of piercings and tattoos, anything body modification wise, you do end up opening yourself to those unsolicited comments.
Yeah.
It's something luckily I got used to relatively quick.
Yeah.
Because it happened a few times and I was like, okay, it's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because people aren't as creative as they think they are.
100%. 100%.
I'm from Port Elizabeth, and I got the exact same comments there as what I got in Joburg. So
it's gonna happen.
It's from different people that have never met each other. Like, it's just, you're not that creative.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's one of those things. It has never impacted my life in a really bad way.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're that addicted to it, could financially, possibly, because I mean, it's not the cheapest thing unless you know a friend of a friend.
And if you're harming yourself,
and if
if you're doing it for like harmful kind of reason, if there's something negative around a behavior and it is impacting some part of your life in a really bad way, that's when you can start looking at it and unpacking it as a bad cross addiction.
Yes.
For example, with the social media and the fillers, they went hand in hand for me, and they went hand in hand with my OCD. So I started doing well on social media, on TikTok, whatever. I didn't expect that to happen. It happened. And in 2023, there was almost like a lull. Algorithms change, and there was like a lull in views. And I also edited my face so much. But I'll give you a photo of how my face used to look on TikTok.
I'll put it over here.
And I lost sense of who I was, like what I looked like, and I started doing things for the wrong reasons, like, oh, I'm not getting enough views, or I'm not getting enough likes, and that wasn't how I set out and what I intended things to be. And then that started affecting my relationship. Like, I started getting angry if I didn't look a certain way in a TikTok video, or if I couldn't say the right things, or if someone left a nasty comment, which there was a lot of, or things like that. And I started spiraling and spiraling and spiraling. And then I was like, oh my God, what can fix this? I can change what I look like so that I don't have to worry about the filter or whatever it is I was using at the time. I went and got fillers, had a really negative reaction to that, which led me to psychosis. My life started falling apart. That is a very negative cross addiction.
Yeah.
So how do I compartmentalize the two? Like, how do I deal with it? Stop fillers. I know I'm never going to have a good relationship with what I look like ever. As long as I live, I won't. Except no, that's a harsh way to say it. I'm just going to struggle with that from time to time. Sometimes I think I look great. Sometimes I don't. So I stopped the fillers, and social media I had to change my relationship with. So I took some time off social media, and I reevaluated what I want to do. I got back to basics, what my actual mission and purpose that I feel fulfills my soul, has nothing to do with likes and has nothing to do with views. It's got to do with reaching people. And so I started posting on my terms what I wanted and stopped chasing. And now that relationship has become healthy. If it ever gets negative again, then I need to reevaluate. And that's how I identify my cross addictions. I stopped drinking coffee as much as I used to. Frappuccinos I'm still addicted to.
It's okay, they have less caffeine in it.
Yes, yeah, 100%. And it's just about navigating those kinds of things and figuring out where I stand and what works for me and what doesn't.
It's actually crazy hearing this answer, because I mean, I'd call it a fan before I actually met you.
Yeah.
I watched those TikToks and laughed, like really laughed at some of them because they're hilarious. And I never knew about that part of the struggle with how you looked in those videos. Because in my brain, it was like, oh, you're doing this to be... Not obviously, there was I could see there's a message behind it.
Yes. Yeah.
Spread through comedy.
Yeah.
But knowing that, obviously, there was some real bad side effects to that as well.
Ooh, it was bad. Like, it started off so wholesome. It really did. And then I think I got into my own head. I wasn't dealing with the OCD. I only got diagnosed with the OCD when I was in psychosis properly. So a lot of stuff was going untreated, and a lot of things started from a good place, and then the addict in me would kind of spiral into it, and I would think, this is okay because it's not meth.
Yeah.
But then it started ruining my relationships and my relationship with self, and then I had to reevaluate. It's very easy behind a camera to hide.
Yeah.
don't believe a lot of like the lifestyle stuff you see on social media, not because those people are lying to you, but sometimes they're lying to themselves. And I did that a lot. And I'm not, and my message still meant something, but no one would know I was struggling
Yeah.
with how I was being perceived. You know, here we are.
Here we are. How do you deal with the negative reaction of your drug activism?
So we're going to reframe the wording.
Yeah. This was
I
like
know, I know, I know. It's not so the drug, like speaking about as a drug addict, being someone who's an addict, and talking about it online is going to open up the world to negative feedback. Like, no matter what you do, if I sit and I take full accountability for something I did in active addiction, harming my mom, putting her in a dangerous situation, I am taking full accountability. I'm being honest. I'm leaving nothing out. And then I overly explain in the caption what I'm explaining in the video. There is going to be one person who doesn't listen to the message properly, doesn't read the caption, and just goes full on hate mode on you. And you have to be prepared for that. There's been instances in my life where people have been like, stay away from her. You know, she's the drug addict one. And I've seen that happen in real life. That doesn't faze me. There's two kinds of people that will hate someone who's open about their addiction. Someone who's struggling with addiction. So for me, if I would have met me in early phases of my addiction, I don't think I would have hated myself. Would have hated me. Because, like, why are you sitting there telling about your recovery? I'm struggling. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. Even though I know.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to see that. So sometimes people who hate you are the people struggling the most, and that's so fair, and I get that, and I love you. The other people who hate you are people who don't want to understand why the pain, not why the addiction. It's people who don't want to humanize addicts because they've been hurt by addicts, or they just judge addicts.
Yeah.
And they think I could never be that until it happens to someone they love. I don't really care. I've way past that point of caring. I do have, and I know everyone says this, but I've got very thick skin because in 2023 as well, I made a video about how I was sexually assaulted in active addiction, and I got R-word threats to my inbox. The video went mega viral, and I got a lot of hate, a lot of "we're going to do this to you again," like all that just stupid stuff on the internet that didn't help my psychosis. But it did help me realize that people just, no matter who, if you're like even a woman on the internet, like there's guys that do content like me, in the States or whatever, that do satirical content about drug addiction to educate. They get nothing but love. Nothing but love. Maybe the once in a while, like, oh, this guy's a douchebag comment.
Yeah.
But if you're a woman, it becomes sexual, it becomes sexualized, and you get asked really like crazy questions, and you get labeled. And the men who do it are labeled heroes. The women who do it are labeled. I'm not even going to use the word.
Yeah. No, it's
You know?
I've seen some of those comments and it's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Um
And that's why I still do it.
yeah.
Because I want to stop that. It doesn't bother me. Like, I have been called every single word in the book, and I know people will say this kind of thing, but I promise you, it's nothing close to what I have called myself throughout my life, especially with my OCD, and the things I did in active addiction. Like, you can say whatever you want to me. I've said it. And it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't translate to me because I know that what I'm saying is at least reaching one person that's going to get help from it and feel less alone from it. And that's all that matters. So hate me all you want. Like,
It's most of the times people are really unhappy with themselves that leave comments like that anyway.
yeah, like, dude, go do.
It doesn't matter. It's a few words that was said in a comment section.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, it was hard in the beginning. It was. But once I just kind of moved through it, sat with the discomfort. It's all of that. Once I was able to do that, it became nothing
Yeah.
to me. Like, nothing.
This one is kind of already been touched on. How did you find your personality without the substance?
I really struggled with that. I made a video about this as well. Like I said, didn't know who I was, wore mask after mask. The thing that helped me the most in figuring out who I was reconnecting with other human beings. So for me, it was a 12-step space and then making friends outside of that space. But it was me being able to be present, listen to them, figure out what I like, what I don't like, what kind of spaces I feel comfortable in, what I don't feel comfortable in, and not relearning, learning who I was by being around other people. and letting me discover myself in those spaces helped me piece together who I was, because my whole life I was wearing other people's personalities. I was wearing pieces of their personalities as my own. Starting from scratch in recovery, I was able to build myself and figure out who I was, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
I think it's important not to pretend to like things just for other people's
Oh, I
sake.
did it a lot. Oh, I did it a lot.
I think obviously growing up, I did it quite often because you want to fit in.
Yes.
Everyone wants to fit in, and then eventually you realize like that's not happiness. You're not getting along with these people. You're just pretending to like something that they do, and then you meet people that you actually enjoy being around with, and you're like, oh, that's who I am.
And you can breathe.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, I can breathe in this space. This is fine. And you don't not like, it's just you learn in time, and it's a process. It really is one day at a time. I can't wait to share you the photos of me and my flowy.
Can't wait. I've seen some photos. Like every now and then you'll post a video when your previous Facebook stuff comes up.
Yes.
Because it's obviously still the same profile, and I'm like,
it's crazy.
wow.
It's crazy.
Does staying sober get easier with time?
Yes, it does. I really do believe it's a process. The best way I can describe it depends. I'm speaking from my experience, and I'm not putting this on anyone else. Please understand, like, I'm 13 years into my recovery. There's been ups and downs, but there's an age-old saying, and I think this is the best way to describe it. Just like addiction is progressive, so is recovery. When in my addiction it started, I was using, geez, I went straight into addiction, but like, say with alcohol, like I was using on the weekends, and then it would become every second day, and it was a slow progress of destruction that happened really slowly, and it was very subtle in the beginning until it wasn't. Recovery is the same and has been the same for me. Whereas, like I've described, and I took us through, like the first few years, I really struggled. I struggled with feeling alone, with purpose, with identity, who I was without substances, dealing with mental health issues, and learning that it was okay to do that, and then getting to a point where I was started becoming comfortable in who I was, figuring out who I was, and the progression to get to where I am now was very slow until it wasn't. And I think it's about putting in the effort, acknowledging the struggle when there is struggle, and sitting through the discomfort to come out the other side. There's that Winston Churchill, I think it's Winston Churchill, I might be making this up, quote that's something like, when going through hell, keep going. I've heard that quote a million times as that is. It's very true in this case. Like, recovery isn't easy. And there's a difference between sobriety and recovery, which I always say.
Yes.
There were many times in sobriety I was very unhappy, and I wasn't necessarily in recovery. But as it ebbs and flows, and it's not linear in terms of where my brain is at, it does get easier. Cravings get lifted. Using dreams become less and less. Friendships become more about friendships than they do substances, talking about substances. You build a career for yourself, figure out what you like, what you don't like, but it does take time, and it's not a quick fix. If we want a quick fix, we would be on drugs and then dead. Me.
This is one of those questions where it's one of the things that I thought about a lot, like if I'm going to put this one in, because I kind of wanted to avoid some like really negative things, but I want to say this is also something that some people have to hear.
Throw it in.
Is sobriety really worth all the horrible ups and downs? And my immediate reaction is to be like, it's always worth it, but I've never went through that.
Life has horrible ups and downs. Life has horrible ups and downs, and life's worth it.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like in addiction, there's something bad happens in acts of addiction. Let me explain it like this. My life was up and down before I picked up any substance. I went through trauma as a kid, struggled with that. Then I found substances, which I thought was a solution to the trauma. I thought would take away the trauma. In addiction, so I did the drugs. The drugs became an addiction. within that addiction, I started collecting even more trauma, putting myself in traumatic situations and traumatizing people even further. So I was hurting other people. I became the abuser. I went from victim to victimizer. I'm not saying it happens with everyone. It happened with me. I had to do a lot of work on myself to get to that point. So I started collecting more and more and more trauma. And then when I would use, I'd feel like the trauma's gone. On a come down, that would be heightened to a degree I never thought possible, where I would want to die, where I would tell myself I'm going to stop using drugs. I'm done with drugs. I can't go through this again. The next day I would use. If you're speaking about ups and downs, that's an up and down that is consistent. It's all the time, and you never know what's going to happen next. It is scary. It is horrifying. It is dangerous. It can end in death. And it can end in other people's deaths. It can end in massive consequences that you can't even comprehend. Harming another human being, all that kind of stuff. That's up and down. In sobriety, yes, I struggled with loneliness in the beginning. I struggled with my mental health. I still struggle with my mental health, but that's life. And I would rather be present in life than try to escape it while harming myself and other people. I know life is hard, but I'm tired of existing. Like, I want to live, and some days are harder than other. But I'd rather. I lost my dad in recovery. The one person in the world who understood me and loved me for me. I lost my person. That was the hardest thing I've gone through in recovery. But the greatest gift I ever got in my recovery was that experience, because I got to be present for my father while he struggled with cancer for 9 months, and hold his hand and be by his side through it all. And he got to see me as that. So yes, life has ups and downs, but I'd rather be present in the downs than disassociate and let people down. So
Yeah. One of the things that's always like, that gets emotional real fast is people talking about the most mundane things and how they're happy to be there of sober mind, whether it's having children, or like playing with a pet, like the most things you take for granted, where they now realize how important that is, because they never had those type of emotions
100%.
when they were using, because whenever emotions came along, they would obviously just use. And I know I'm kind of generalizing
No,
a
you're
little
right.
bit,
Like,
but
I relate to that.
yeah.
Even the pet thing.
Yeah.
When I was in active addiction, we had a family pet who was like his name was Jesse. He was a border collie. I loved him. And I remember one night I passed out outside the house, and I hadn't gone in, and he started barking, barking, and barking. He was trying to help me. And I was like, shut up, shut up. Like, I shouted at him. And I know that's a stupid thing. And I started ignoring him. Like, I started ignoring this dog that I loved so much in active addiction. Such a big regret of mine. And I didn't do anything to harm him. I just didn't appreciate him or be around him. He had my family. I wasn't at home anyway. But like, I feel like I let him down. And now I have my two boys at home, my two cats, and I can be present for them
Yeah.
even when they're sick or going through something. Like, I can be their mommy.
You can be there in their life.
Oh, Jesse, I miss that dog.
What thing confronted you the most in step 4?
So step 4 is in recovery in a 12-step program, whether AA, NAACA. The gist of step 4 is taking a searching and fearless moral inventory of yourself. So kind of going through, anyway, it's writing out your character defects, writing out all the dangerous situations you have been in your life, who's harmed you, your participation in who harmed you, who you've harmed, how you've harmed people. It's really, and then what you like about yourself at the end, which is the hardest part of the whole step 4. What confronted me the most wasn't the things that had happened to me, because I played on my trauma a lot in my addiction. I know every bad thing that happened to me in active addiction that I remember, because I did black out a lot, but I used it as a tool to use more drugs and to do more things. So none of that shocked me. My behaviors didn't shock me. I was embarrassed and I felt guilt and shame around a lot of things. What shocked me was when you do that, you say it to another human being. You tell your sponsor. They take you through it. You read them all these stories. What shocked me was telling these stories that I felt so much immense guilt and shame around, particularly around crystal meth and sex. Like I've had a lot of guilt and shame around certain behaviors. And I told another human being this, and they really just listened. Like no one like yelled at me or told me I'm a disgusting human being or I'm a monster. How could I do that for drugs? This, that, the other. They just listened. And in saying something like that out loud, like my deepest, darkest secrets were lifted. And there's a famous saying that our secrets keep us sick. To have that kind of relief and have someone just hear it without judgment, even if they were judging, I didn't feel judged. I was able to start accepting those things happened, seeing my part in them, seeing what wasn't my part, seeing what was a problem, what wasn't a problem, and learning to move forward from it and knowing I'm never going to act on those behaviors again because that goes against something I believe in, things like that. Just I know I'm not making too much sense because there wasn't like this big thing I did
Yeah.
in step 4 that shocked me or brought me to my senses. It was the fact that another human being could accept who I was in active addiction and not just see me as a monster.
Because I'm guessing you got quite a lot of that, because I mean I've heard some of the stories, and I can imagine that it would be almost difficult for you to believe that someone is just sitting there and listening.
Yeah. Yeah. And they do. Well, some don't. Some do. You know,
Ye-
you find someone you connect with and you tell them this kind of stuff and you can get a genuine reaction from them. And it's beautiful. I like step 4 actually, now that I think about it. What step 4 made me realize were those things I touched on. What step 4, and I'm saying I knew these things, I didn't. Step 4 made me realize I, in many instances, went from victim to victimizer, went from abused to abuser. Step 4 made me realize that I was using my trauma as an excuse to traumatize. Step 4 made me realize that I wasn't the victim, or that I liked playing the victim, because I was the victim many times in my life, but I liked playing the victim. I felt comfortable in victim mode because it could get me what I want. Those were the kind of character defects it pointed out in me. And once you identify that, it's really hard to come back from it because you become self aware.
yeah.
And that's when I know that I'm doing these things. I know why I'm doing these things. Now I actively need to change my behavior or at least own up to it. And that's, I think, a big thing step 4 taught me. Also,
Yeah.
that I struggle to like myself. That, like, step 4 is like, what, things you like about yourself. And everyone's like, oh my God, I don't know. But, like, I really didn't know. Like, people don't know. And it allowed me to actually be a bit gentler to myself towards the end of step 4, which is very nice.
I can imagine that it's quite a difficult thing. Like I don't. It's always so difficult when people ask you like certain things about yourself, and when you really like, that's the point where you really have to be honest.
Dude, it's hard. It's hard. And you want to like, oh, I like, there were so many points I wanted to lie, like, and not, and omit certain
Yeah.
information. And I did in the beginning. I did. And then I would go back to it and then I get honest about other things. And it's still a process, It's cool.
So the last question.
Be done quick, see.
So
We used up a memory card.
we recorded for too long. Memory card got full.
First time we've done that.
So okay. Let's get right into it.
I can't
So-
believe it ended as you asked that. That was so perfect. That was
Perfect.
perfect.
The last question was one that I also struggle with. How do you deal with boredom? Because obviously I don't know exactly what you're going through, but I mean, if you're bored, you gravitate towards certain things like nicotine.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when I'm really bored, my mental health takes serious toll on me, like if you're bored. So how do you deal with that as like being in active recovery?
In the beginning, it was really difficult because I think never felt safe being alone. Like, but I suppose in active addiction, even if I was in a room full of people, I felt alone, like in a trap house, like I was alone.
Yeah.
In early recovery, it felt the same. I would be alone. I just felt no one understood me. And being alone, like if I'm isolated to a halfway house or a sober house and I tell myself I can't go out and party like people my age or do what normal people, I hate that word, but like what people do that aren't addicts, like I can get caught up in that and I can become bored. The issue I found is when I stew on the thought. So I'll give you an example. My boyfriend goes to events where it's like sponsored by weed shops and stuff like that, which is great. Like I've never had a problem with it. I don't smoke weed, but I don't mind being around it. Just like I don't mind going to bars where people are drinking. Like I'm fine. If I'm not fine, I leave. Um, but I don't feel it's appropriate for me to go into those spaces. Just regardless, like especially with the work that I do, like I don't feel like going to those spaces and having to explain to people I don't smoke, like that kind of thing. Um, but the one day he had an event like that, and I felt so sorry for myself that I told myself I couldn't go, and I sat at home and I stewed and I felt sorry for myself. I was bored. I couldn't find anything to watch on TV. And then I started thinking, oh my God, he could have a girl who can go out and do this kind of stuff, but he's stuck with me. And I started getting into poor me mode because I was bored. What I could have done was change the narrative in my head. I could have gone to the event. I chose not to go to the event. I have friends that I could have phoned and I could have told them what was going on. I could have just gone out and done something I wanted to do. I could have phoned people in my life and been around them. Um, or I could have just sat with it and put something on the TV and distract myself. I think boredom is a silent killer. Boredom leads to the most relapses, but it's also okay. I needed to learn that it is okay to be bored sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't need constant chaos. I don't need to be constantly moving. I don't need to be constantly thinking. But getting used to that process takes time, and also knowing when it's healthy boredom versus isolation. Like there's times I could stay at home for weeks at a time and do nothing, but I'm bored because I'm isolating and
Yeah.
because I'm not reaching out and asking for help. There's other times it might be a lazy Sunday, everyone's busy and I'm at home and I'm bored. And I need to, at the end of the day, I can be bored, but I can still find something that I feel like doing. Or I can just lie down and do nothing and be comfortable with it.
Luckily, we record the podcast now on Sundays.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. You know what I do now? I am watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I'm watching all the Real Housewives. I'm watching bad reality TV when I'm bored because it does take me out of my mind.
Yeah.
And it does give me like something to think about and like, oh my gosh, look what's going on. Living through other people might be unhealthy for some people, but for me, perfect distraction.
I don't really have a problem with like reality shows like that, but my girlfriend loves watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
It's my favorite thing in the world.
I don't know how.
I'm obsessed. I want to know everything. I'm interested in the interpersonal relationships. I want to know what they do. I want to know about the swinging scandals. I want to know everything. I want to know what is going on with Mom Talk to a degree that is unhealthy, but you know what? I'm not bored.
Yeah. I genuinely like, okay, she watched it and I was listening, and at one point I did get invested.
Okay, so you know some of the
I know some of it, and I was giving her my feedback every now and then, like, this is how I would have handled it, or no, this person's overreacting. Luckily, we are so similar that almost like 100% of the time she said, I feel the exact same way. I was like, okay.
Well done. You're on the right page for Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Shout out Taylor Frankie Paul. Like literally watch that show. I don't know what it is. You know what I think? It's just like see, did you hear my reflux?
Yes.
You heard my reflux. I'm so sorry. It's just nice to just see people, like, even if they're not being themselves, it feels like they're being themselves.
Yes.
So whatever, like I'm down, like just distract me, bro.
I really did wonder like how real some of the stuff were.
I don't
like
care anymore. I'm like, I love this. I love it. I love it.
So I should stop
love it.
overanalyzing it. Just watch
enjoy.
it.
Just let
enjoy
it consume you. Just take my brain away for like turn my brain off for 5 minutes. Let me invest in these Mormons in Utah, in America.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely. I know with that episode that released before the last season now, I knew some of what was happening in the show, but obviously not everything. And the way she reacted when certain people spoke.
Who? Which one? See? Demi? Taylor?
I think it was... Wait, was Demi the...
Demi's the one that's like the worst.
Yes, 100% there, I agree. Demi's the worst. I don't know if I've seen someone with so little redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
Okay, there are obviously there are worse people in life.
Yes, there really are.
There are worse, but in the show, I'm talking about like if we just take it as a cinematic universe.
Yes.
Of secret,
They exist just in that.
Just in that bubble,
Yes.
she was the person with the least amount of redeeming qualities, and she lies about everything.
She's just unlikable as well.
And she's just unlikable.
Just unlikable.
I try and see the good in most
husband,
people.
Brett. Just saying.
I saw his face and I'm like,
Yeah, see, it's look. If you ever bored, watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, Real Housewives of any place. There's so many. There's South African versions, everything. Oh my god, I love it.
I wish I could go into more detail now, but I can't remember everyone's names. But the way Brett reacted to some controversies versus how he reacted to other controversies bothered me so much. I'm like, why is he flip flopping so much?
They flip flop on everything. Everything. It's the
It's
best.
like you're just no.
Do you know who's really won me over is Taylor Frankie Paul. Won me over. I love her.
I can't remember.
She's the swinger one. She's like the lead. She's like the one, like the leader of Mom Talk.
The leader of Mom Talk.
She's like super pretty. She's got Dakota as her boyfriend.
Yeah. Oh.
I love her.
Okay. Yeah.
I love her.
Don't know how I felt about Dakota.
Oh, Dakota belongs on this couch.
Well, 100%.
Come here, bro. Let's
100%.
talk, bro. Let's just get to the root of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate you. You need to just chill.
Yeah, luckily I said I don't know how I feel about him. So
Yeah.
very open.
No,
open.
Dakota really needs help. Like, that's a codependent relationship.
Oh, yes. Now that, yeah, 100%.
But I love
Absolutely.
you, Taylor Frankie Paul. Please be my best friend.
Hopefully she sees this.
Yeah.
And then
I
reaches out.
300 views.
Yeah.
Taylor Frankie Paul.
She'll reach out, and then one day we can interview
Dakota.
So I have no idea how to end this episode.
It's just on Secret. The title is Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
It took over. It took over the conversation.
I know what to say. Because Dalen, I just want to thank you so much. This is so easy. Like sitting here, like having a conversation with a friend, like just talking this kind of stuff out. Like it's just comfortable, it's relaxed, and I also like don't feel as OCD about what I look like in the space, like because I'm comfortable and I'm happy and I'm enjoying answering these questions. So thank you for like participating in everything you do for the show.
Thank you.
And then to everyone who's left comments, like everyone who's asking
Oh,
questions.
yes. Yeah.
Like, we love you. Do you understand how much we love you? Like, I just hope something resonated with someone.
Is that cliche thing that every person in the social media world is like, we'll be nothing without the viewers, which is 100% true. I'm also glad that you're comfortable because this couch is not.
I love this couch. I'm used to sitting on floors in trap houses. This is very comfortable.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, how do people do this? We need a more comfortable chair or
Does
couch.
anyone want to give us 2 wingback chairs?
Yes, so that whoever comes on the episode can feel more comfortable. Because I'm like, after 2 hours of talking, I never want to sit again.
Just please donate. If anyone has anything, just 2 wingback chairs, bro. They can be old. We'll get them reupholstered. Everything. Like, please. I don't ask for anything for the show. Everything we did ourselves.
Yeah,
and now it's like,
absolutely.
Please just do a hand.
Just like some help.
Our 300 viewers, one of you.
Yeah, they have 2 chairs sitting around.
In
storage, whatever.
You were going to pawn them. You decided not to pawn them.
They could make the guests so much more comfortable.
You really could. Taylor Frankie Paul, please give us.
Yeah, please. Ship it from America.
Yeah, ship it from America. On that note, Dalen, thank you so much for doing this. And thank you to all of you who watched through this.
Yeah.
We love you.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks, Day. And wait, one more thing. Dalen, thank you for sharing a bit about yourself and like what you've been through. Like, it's really important.
It's a pleasure. I think more people need to be a little bit more open in life.
Fuck yeah, bitches. Ooh. And we got the show is off the internet.
Monetized, cancelled.
Done. Peace. Taylor, save us.